Hello, internet viewers. I'm the Fairly OddGamer. It's a new year, and wait a minute. It's March already? Shadow, where are you?
I'm down here.
Okay, may I ask why?
Sorry, I was just hiding because I heard that you-know-who is going to be here.
Wait, you don't mean...
No, not him.
Oh, that's good. For a moment I thought you were... Oh, right. Him. Gee, I wonder...
Hello, Lucas.
Hello, Seth. What brings you here?
Well, I'm well aware that you've been doing this Mario month for quite a while, and I'm going to be joining you for this one time.
I see, but why now?
Do you remember what happened last year?
Well...
Lucas, why did you skip Super Mario Galaxy?
I was really hoping you forgot about that.
Nope, I still remember. So before you guys decide to review any other Mario game, I'm making sure you review the one that you skipped last year, and I'm going to be joining you for this one as well.
Alright, let's get this over with. There we go. This is Marchio. Now, actually, before we start, I gotta ask Seth, what's your experience with the Italian plumber?
Well, it's complicated. Like many kids in both the 90s and 2000s, I definitely grew up playing a lot of Mario games. In fact, the original Super Mario Bros. For the Nintendo Entertainment System was the second video game I've ever played, my first being Kirby's Adventure, also for the Nintendo Entertainment System. As a kid, I remember really wanting a Nintendo console purely for Kirby and Mario alone. The first Nintendo system my family ever bought was a Nintendo DS, though ironically, the first Mario game I've ever owned was the Game Boy Advance version of Super Mario Bros. 3, also known as Super Mario Advance 4. And by the time I finally got a Nintendo GameCube alongside Mario Kart Double Dash, the Nintendo Wii was just about to be released. And despite being a bigger fan of Kirby, I played way more Mario games growing up purely because they were much easier to find in stores. And I certainly played quite a lot of them. The ones that me and my siblings spent the most time on were Mario Kart Double Dash, Super Mario 64 DS, Super Mario Galaxy, Mario Kart Wii, and... New Super Mario Bros. Okay, here comes the complicated part that I foreshadowed earlier. In 2008, I started taking more interest in other video game franchises, mostly thanks to Super Smash Bros. Brawl, with Sonic the Hedgehog being chief among them. But when New Super Mario Bros. Wii released in 2009, despite still having my fun with the game, I started to grow really tired of Mario in the following year, more specifically 2D Mario. During the 2010s, I instead wanted to play more 3D Mario games as well as Sonic the Hedgehog because those games looked so much cooler to me. But every time I tried showing my siblings a Sonic game, or even Super Mario 3D World when that game eventually released, they would basically say, "That was nice, but can we play New Super Mario Bros. Wii now?" And my first thought was, but we always play that game. Can we please play something else instead? I'm also the type of person who feels that no matter how much I enjoy a game, I will always inevitably get bored of it before wanting to play something else. Even when it comes to some of my favorite games of all time, I will always eventually get tired of them unless I mod said games to give them more options for replayability. But getting back to Mario, I still have my fair share of fun with the series even today, but I really need to be in the right mood in order to play and enjoy them. I also feel the need to mention that despite the overexposure to 2D Mario I experienced during the early 2010s, that doesn't take away the respect and nostalgia I personally have with the franchise. In fact, I'm pretty sure I've replayed the original Super Mario Bros. At least once or twice a year. I also still enjoy playing Mario Party on occasion with my friends and family. Mario & Luigi Partners in Time was my very first RPG, and I especially still love the Mario Kart series. So, despite everything I went through, this 40-year-old franchise definitely has a special place in my heart.
Okay then. Anyway, to answer your question properly, the reason I didn't review Super Mario Galaxy last year was simply because I forgot about it. And I'm sure Shadowflare can back me up on this.
Must have slipped my mind.
But anyway, here's Super Mario Galaxy for the Nintendo Wii on Nintendo Switch. Yep, we're finishing up the Super Mario 3 All-Stars trilogy. But does Galaxy still hold up today? We'll put on your space helmets because we're about to go on a galactic adventure. Let's find out.
Let's go! Nah, we're just kidding.
And the award for most epic title screen ever goes to
Hotel Mario.
No.
The game actually begins in the one place that hasn't been corrupted by capitalism.
Space!
And we start things off after choosing a planet file with a disembodied head.
Every 100 years, a comet appears in the skies above the Mushroom Kingdom. The comet was so large one year, it filled the skies and sent countless shooting stars raining down.
Hi Toadette. The turds brought the shooting stars to the castle, where they became a great power star. It should have been a very happy time for the citizens of the Mushroom Kingdom.
That was the night of the Star Festival, held once every 100 years to celebrate the comet.
We then receive a letter from Princess Peach.
Dear Mario, I'll be waiting for you at the castle on the night of the Star Festival. There's something I'd like to give you. From Peach.
We then see Mario happily running towards the castle. And so the adventure begins.
In this game, you play as Mario.
Aw man, I wanted to play as Donkey Kong.
And I wanted to play as Waluigi.
And I wanted to play as Yoshi. Oh, wait a minute.
Anyway, you move Mario with a control stick and B or A to jump while also using the game's controller sensor to collect any star bits.
In the original Wii game, you use the Wii remote to point at the screen to collect them, while in the Switch version, you use the Joy-Con or Pro Controller's IR sensor to collect them.
Once you've gotten accustomed to the controls, you can head for the castle where, here's a big shock, Bowser shows up and kidnaps Princess Peach.
Meanwhile, the sky is blue, cars can't fly, and Bowser was snubbed at the Oscars.
But this time, he kidnaps the entire castle with his airship armada. He also now has a UFO, apparently.
You know, between this and Star Fox 64, someone at Nintendo really likes Independence Day.
Comic jump scare!
He then blasts Mario out of the castle to prevent him from following them. Jerk.
Thankfully, Mario survives this. He then finds himself on a small planet with the very same star creature that Princess Peach had at the beginning of the game. Said creature then transforms into a star bunny and asks Mario to follow him and reminds him to jump.
Come on, Mario, jump!
The star bunny leads Mario to two other star bunnies as they request Mario to play hide and seek. So yes, you have to catch all three star bunnies.
After Mario catches said star bunnies, they then transform back into their original form. These are called Lumas. We'll be seeing way more of them throughout the game. After that, Mario then gets to meet one of the most popular characters in the entire franchise and best Mario girl, sorry Daisy, Rosalina, who in this game is voiced by Mercedes Rose.
And thanks to Rosalina, you now have the ability to spin with either X or Y or shake the Joy-Con.
This is one of the best moves in the entire Mario franchise, not just because it's useful from an offensive standpoint, but also because it can be used as a makeshift double jump. And depending on your timing, you can take some really awesome shortcuts using this move combined with certain jumps.
It's also where we're introduced to the launch stars, allowing Mario to shoot through space from one planet to another, as well as trying to find 5 star chips, some of which you can find after shattering some lovely crystals.
Rarity would be devastated.
But if you jump off, you'll either land on one side of the planet, or even worse, a black hole or the endless vacuum of space. After rescuing a couple of Lumas, Mario eventually rescues a shiny object known as a Grand Star by turning off the flip switches that are up and down and all around. After retrieving said Grand Star, we are then taken to the main hub world of the game, the Comet Observatory.
Rosalina then explains that the observatory has the ability to fly like a starship, but the power source for it are the Power Stars and Grand Stars.
So yeah, not only did Bowser steal the Mushroom Kingdom, but he also stole the Power Stars as well as their great-granddads, the Grand Stars.
So now Mario needs to collect them in order to restore power to the Comet Observatory. That way, it can fly to the center of the universe where Bowser and Peach are located.
The Comet Observatory consists of 6 different domes that contain entrances to each of the various different galaxies. But the only one you can visit for the time being is in the Terrace, and that's our first stop for this grand adventure.
Because of this structure, it's much easier to find the entrances to each stage. Just enter one of the domes and select a stage you want to visit. Simple as that. Let's start things off at the Terrace with a good egg galaxy with rolling boulders, piranha plants that can turn into vines, those balloon-like plants that can destroy most hazards, a dino piranha with a dried melon for a tail, and a Mama Goomba squid, King Caliente.
This is a pretty good galaxy to start with. I mean, go figure, it's the first one after all, but hey, it does do a really good job at introducing the players to the game's core mechanics.
This is definitely a strong beginning to a great galactic adventure.
The Honey Hive Galaxy is home to the Honey Hive Kingdom. I'll give you one guess on its inhabitants.
Bees, my god.
I wonder if they like jazz.
Not only is this galaxy filled with flowers and enough honey for a Pooh Bear, but it's also here where we're introduced to a new power-up via Mushroom, Bee Mario. It allows Mario to fly for a short period of time via Fly Gauge, but can instantly get refilled by collecting coins. But because bees don't like water, the power-up will immediately disintegrate the moment Mario touches the water with said power-up. However, this level also has bug-like enemies like Flipbugs and Mandibugs. It's also the first galaxy where I first encountered the Rainbow Star, which, as you would expect, turns Mario invincible for a short time.
I am invincible!
There's also a star mission where you have to crawl around on a giant bee. I'm sure someone is way too into this.
The first time I ever saw Super Mario Galaxy in action, it was either this galaxy or Good Egg Galaxy that I saw first. And when I first saw it, I was like, wait, there's another 3D Mario game? And it's on the Nintendo Wii? That's awesome! I definitely was not expecting Mario to get a bee outfit though. But then again, nobody expected him to get an elephant appearance either.
Wowie zowie!
Well, there's your elephant in the room for this video.
Right before getting the first Power Star in this galaxy, you'll also run into Captain Toad, his brigade, and his blinding headlamp for the first time. Expect to see these guys several times throughout this game.
However, in each dome, there's also 2 hidden galaxies as classified by question mark blocks. Like in Super Mario 64, the more stars you gain, the more galaxies you unlock. With Flip Switch Galaxy, all you have to do is walk around a cube-like galaxy and activate all Flip Switch panels from blue to yellow. And then we have Loop-de-Loop Galaxy, a looping river that has Mario surfing via Manta Ray. And no joke, the mission is literally called Surfing 101.
How's it going, dudes and dudettes? I'm Huxgamr, and welcome to Surfing 101. Now, let's begin with the basics. With either the Joy-Con or the Pro Controller, you must master the art of using tilt controls to guide the Manta Ray across the water without falling off. And that, dudes, was Surfing 101. Class dismissed.
After collecting enough Power Stars, you can then unlock a boss galaxy in which you'll either face Bowser himself, Bowser Jr., or one of Bowser Jr.'s minions. In the case of Bowser Jr.'s robot reactor, Bowser Jr. sends out Megaleg, a giant walker standing on this small moon.
Though unfortunately, you don't have a tow cable to pull it down.
Instead, you just climb it by walking on its legs to reach the head. After that, you need to lure these bullet bills into crashing into its weak spot surrounded by a gate, and therefore getting the next Power Star. And this results in unlocking the next dome in the Comet Observatory, the Fountain. But before doing so, this would be a good time to talk about the Hungry Lumas in the Comet Observatory. After getting enough Power Stars in a specific dome, a Hungry Luma will appear in front of the entrance of said dome. When that happens, feeding them a large specific amount of star bits will result in them transforming into an entirely new galaxy to enter. In the case of this one, it's a sweet, sweet galaxy.
It's just a simple obstacle course where Mario needs to jump over several holes before eventually reaching the star at the end. Basically a 3D version of a 2D Mario level, not unlike what later games would do.
Moving on to the next dome, the Fountain. And because of my Power Stars accumulated in the terrace, I ended up getting enough Power Stars to unlock a secret galaxy, Rolling Green Galaxy, which is one of only 2 galaxies in which Mario has to bounce a ball with a Power Star inside.
Funny enough, a certain robot would later do more or less the same thing last year, minus the motion controls.
Like the Manta Rays, using tilt controls is required to guide the ball. If you're using the Joy-Con, then think of it as using a joystick from an early Atari game. Though thankfully no nunchucks were harmed while playing this game. But because I'm using the Pro Controller, you have to be careful on where to guide the ball and at what speed. Losing control at any time could cost you one of your needed lives. Actually, come to think of it, there is a way you can get more lives in this game aside from finding 1-ups in the levels. If you go back to the Comet Observatory and find a Post Toad with a letter notification, you'll be given a note from Princess Peach with 5 1-up mushrooms attached. But anyway, let's get back to the Fountain with Space Junk Galaxy.
What a dump!
Along with pole stars, sling pods, witch, and even a spider. No, not that spider. And wait, Yoshi's in this game? Oh wait, it's just a planet.
I wonder how many trees died to give us that planet.
Probably the ones found all over Animal Crossing.
Up next we have Battle Rock Galaxy. With electric traps, lasers, battle cannons,
And an extremely boring auto-scrolling section. Yep, an auto-scrolling section. In a 3D Mario game. Even this dimension isn't safe from those sections.
and a Top Man tribe led by Top Maniac, the latter being the easiest boss fight in the entire game. Why is that? Because you defeat him the same way Amy defeated Zero in Sonic Adventure.
The only difference being Top Maniac gets damaged the instant he touches the electric fence.
There's also this one mission you get via a Hungry Luma that's really annoying purely because it requires being accurate with throwing them bombs at some trash while under a time limit. And there's even another mission just like that in a later galaxy, but much harder, and the robot gets angry at you if you don't blow it all up fast enough, when he instead should be thankful that I'm blowing it up at all. Jerk.
I remember Battle Rock Galaxy feeling pretty exciting. Explosions everywhere. It's like a Michael Bay movie without the god-awful dialogue.
There's also another secret galaxy in the fountain called Hurry Scurry Galaxy, in which you have to get all the notes while quickly running across shrinking platforms that won't respawn after contact. Otherwise, it's death via black hole. So on to the next boss galaxy, Bowser's Star Reactor. More specifically, the Fiery Stronghold.
And fun fact, the music that plays during this galaxy, as well as another galaxy coming up later, is a rendition of Bowser's Road from Super Mario 64.
After enduring fire bars, gravity fields, and thwomps, Mario finally encounters Bowser for the first time. Defeating Bowser goes like this. After Bowser ground pounds on blue glass, the lava exposed will burn Bowser's tail. That's your chance to attack Bowser with your spin attack. After striking his tail with said attack, you then need to attack him again once he starts spinning on his back. Do all that 2 more times, and Bowser is defeated. At least for now. Anyway, Mario gets another grand star. By the way, it's at this point where I first discovered the Prankster Comets, which are extra challenges in which you revisit a previous galaxy while said comet is in orbit. The first one I encountered was the Daredevil Comet, in which you have to run through a certain area or defeat a certain boss again, only with 1 hit point.
And I know I'm jumping the gun a bit here, but I just want to say, screw the Daredevil Comet in Melty Molten Galaxy. There's nothing that sucks more than going through a 3-minute stage, only to die near the end of the stage and being forced to do all 3 minutes of that all over again.
There's also the Speed Comet, which you have to play through a certain area of a previous mission under a time limit, as well as the Fast Flow Comet, in which you play through a certain area of a previous mission with faster moving enemies.
And finally, there's the Cosmic Comet, in which you race against a cosmic clone of Mario on various courses.
After defeating another Hungry Luma, Mario then gains access to the Slingpod Galaxy. It's pretty self-explanatory. All you have to do is maneuver your way to the Power Star via Slingpods while avoiding obstacles in the process. Also with enough Power Stars, I did manage to unlock the library. It's here where I find out about Rosalina's backstory.
However, in order to get the full backstory, you basically have to finish the game.
By the way, is anyone hungry? Cause I am, just like that Luma. Anyway, off to the kitchen. Hey Mario, are you afraid of ghosts?
No.
Anyway, Ghostly Galaxy is this game's spooky level with pumpkins, spiders, and bats.
They're great survivors.
And right off the bat, no pun intended, we see that Luigi is trapped inside a haunted mansion.
I get it.
And fittingly enough, it's here where Mario finds a Boo Mushroom. Oh no, he's dead!
Nah, he's actually just mostly dead. There's a big difference between being mostly dead and all dead.
Also, did you know that you can interact with Luigi as a ghost?
So once you interact with Luigi as normal Mario, he eventually gives you a power star he found, and from here on out, Luigi will actually help you occasionally find hidden power stars. Sometimes the purple mail tote will give Mario a letter from Luigi with a picture of where he's located. Track him down in the right galaxy, and you'll get yet another power star.
Also, I really don't like... Oh wait, I found a secret level. That's nice. Now, where was I? Oh yeah, I really don't like the spooky speedster in Ghostly Galaxy. While racing the ghost, you have to use pole stars to maneuver your way through a race course while avoiding bones, mines, and meat.
I'm sure the Belmont's mouths are probably watering from that last bit.
Why do I have to be within a certain distance to reach that pole star in the first place? Sure, you can use these mini launch stars to push you ahead, but oftentimes they won't help you with all this meat blocking your way. Yes, I eventually managed to beat this level, but you really need to be perfect with whichever pole star you're trying to aim at and not get hit by any obstacles. If you manage to run into an obstacle within the first few seconds of the race, whether or not you beat your record time, you will lose.
And apparently, losing a race causes Mario to lose a life. Wait, what?
Because apparently we're operating on Super Mario Kart logic here. Lose a race? Freaking die!
It's also here where you fight what we all think is the most difficult boss in the game, yes, even harder than Bowser himself, the Bouldergeist.
Especially if the Daredevil comet is in orbit. I really hated this boss growing up purely for that comet alone.
Just as a side note, these bomb boos that Bouldergeist spits out used to scare the crap out of me. They're like the Heartless from Kingdom Hearts, but with teeth. It's just so off-putting.
And yet, for some reason, the bomb boos are the only way to defeat Boulder Guys, by swinging them around with their tongues. But yeah, let's just move on to another galaxy before I get a monstrous headache. Ah, here we go. Beast Bowl Galaxy. It has a kind of island aesthetic inhabited by penguins.
Anybody seen Surf's Up?
I'm sure Hux has, multiple times. It's also here where Mario can swim underwater. The air meter acts about the same way as the flight meter and can be replenished by collecting coins like before and, get this, air bubbles.
Oh, not this again.
Also, please don't take me green grill, I taste bad. Okay, hot take, but I think the green grill is more terrifying than unagi.
Yeah, I agree. Also, one new addition to the swimming mechanics is that by grabbing a Koopa shell, Mario can ride it like some sort of underwater jet to move through the water much faster than usual.
Onto the Bubble Breeze Galaxy and... all you have to do is hop onto a bubble and use your controller or Joy-Con to blow that bubble to the Power Star. Easy, right?
You have to be very precise with aiming and how much air to blow at the bubble. And no, pelvic thrusting does not help.
Neither does anything else for that matter.
And there's an even more annoying version of this same galaxy, which we'll get to later.
Buoy-based galaxy. Destroy the buoys to rise some platforms, unscrew the gold screws, and swim down a spherical water planet to grab the Power Star. Anyway, it then leads to the next boss galaxy, Bowser Jr.'s Airship Armada. After navigating through a few airships, you then encounter Bowser Jr. in, of course, Bowser's airship. While avoiding magic Koopas and homing bullet bills, you have to use these green Koopa shells to inflict damage onto the airship. Do that 2 more times, and Bowser Jr. is once again defeated as Mario gains yet another Grand Star.
This is also the only time in the game where you fight Bowser Jr. directly.
Is this a good time to mention the music? Because this level has an amazing remix of Mario 3's airship theme.
So after defeating another hungry Luma, we then gain access to another hidden galaxy, Drip Drop Galaxy. While swimming underwater, you have to defeat these green girls by throwing shells at them.
Oh yeah, Drip Drop. That level sure did exist.
Man, I'm getting really tired. Maybe I should be going to bed. Luckily there is a bedroom, so maybe I should go there and get some rest.
Nope, you gotta wake up because it's time for the next galaxy.
Oh, great. Anyway, Dusty Dune Galaxy.
And before you ask, yes, in the words of Anakin Skywalker,
it's coarse and rough and irritating.
And it gets everywhere.
Wow. I didn't have to say anything this time.
Besides, well, that, there's also insta-kill quicksand, tornadoes that can make Mario glide like a helicopter, and chickens that crap out bombs.
This galaxy also features the return of one of Mario's oldest and best power-ups, the Fire Flower. This also marks the first time it ever appeared in a 3D Mario game, and, well, it certainly gives off a great first impression, because like before, this allows Mario to throw fireballs at enemies just like the old days, and it looks really awesome. But there's one major problem with it in this game. What? That's not how it worked in the older Mario games. In the older games, you only lost the power-up upon taking damage, but here, you lose it after a certain amount of time. Very disappointing, to be honest.
My guess is that they kept it limited so it wouldn't break the game, but I think they learned that that wasn't necessary because later games like Super Mario 3D World don't have the Fire Flower on a time limit at all.
Anyway, let's turn down the heat, but not too much, with Freeze Flame Galaxy. Not Freeze Frame, Freeze Flame. It's an ice level, which means ice physics everywhere! Joy, oh joy. But if you spin while running on the ice, then you can make Mario skate on the ice. He can even do a pirouette whenever he jumps. And besides Mario and Sonic at the Winter Olympics, the only other time I ever saw Mario skating around the ice was when he had that Ice Capade show back in 1989.
I thought we agreed you weren't gonna talk about that travesty.
And speaking of ice, this galaxy also features the Ice Flower. This allows Mario to freeze water by walking and/or skating on top of it. It's an alright power-up, but it's also temporary, so you don't get to use it quite as much as you'd like to.
Oh, and also...
let's kick some ice.
Anyway, let's turn the heat back up because this is why it's called Freeze Flame. While one part of the galaxy is full of snow and ice, the other part of the galaxy has molten lava and brimstone.
Super Mario Galaxy Fire and Ice, coming to Nintendo NX in the year 21XX.
Didn't Banjo-Tooie already do, like, this exact concept?
Anyway, let's just move on to the Gusty Garden Galaxy. Looks like spring came early this time of year. While gliding on pink dandelions, floaty fluffs, and swinging on vines, you can catch a few bunnies or even defeat a giant spike-head mole named Major Burrows. Honey Climb Galaxy. As being Mario, you have to climb up the sticky honey tome and reach the Power Star up top. Simple enough. And this leaves us with the next boss galaxy, Bowser's Dark Matter Plant. This gravity-induced platforming section is pretty difficult unless you really know what you're doing.
Apparently, Bowser got his level design lessons from Gravity Man.
This galaxy is fine, but I'm not really a fan of how much waiting you're doing on these slow-moving platforms.
After climbing through crumbling stairs while also getting extra power-ups if needed, just defeat Bowser the same way you did before and grab the next Grand Star. Seriously.
When will he learn?
But this time, he now has a new move. He actually does a dark version of Mario's spin attack, and I gotta say, I really like that. I really wish Bowser would use more of Mario's own moves and power-ups against him. Makes for a far more interesting battle if you ask me. It's because of that these are personally my favorite Bowser fights in the entire Mario franchise. Though the fights against him in Super Mario Odyssey are also really great.
This time, after defeating Bowser, Mario has now gathered enough star power to operate the engine room. Not only that, but Rosalina has now gotten the location of the center of the universe. And if you look at the circle by your feet, it'll show how many power stars you need in order to reach said center of the universe.
Like in Super Mario 64, there are a total of 120 power stars, but unlike that game, you only need half of that number in order to reach Bowser.
So let's see how many power stars I have remaining.
24!
But thankfully, the number will decrease with every power star you recover. Once it reaches 0, it'll regain full power to the Comet Observatory and fly the starship to the center of the universe and defeat Bowser once and for all. But now with the engine room up and running, let's investigate said room. Gold Leaf Galaxy. It's basically Honey Hive Galaxy, but mirrored.
Though not quite, because I swear there are a few parts of this galaxy that weren't in Honey Hive Galaxy.
It's also here where I first ran into the Cataquacks. You know, from Sunshine and Gelato Beach. As well as Storm Clouds and a Water Bazooka boss fight. And speaking of water, this next galaxy happens to be the Sea Slide Galaxy. Another water galaxy inhabited by penguins and a whale named Guppy.
Good thing Mario knows how to speak whale.
He probably sounds more like upset stomach. Also, Guppy calls himself a fish of his word, even though he's not actually a fish.
Anyway, Toy Time Galaxy. I love this galaxy so much. It makes me feel like a kid again. And not just because I like toys. Also, it's here where you first acquire Spring Mario. And it's pretty finicky. You literally have to bounce around everywhere, and pressing the jump button lets you jump higher than normal. So maybe he actually could leap tall. Oh, wait.
This is easily my least favorite power-up in the game. You don't use it very much, but it's definitely pretty awkward to control.
But hey, you can disassemble Mecha Bowser.
Looking very different, and frankly a lot less cool than he did in Mario Sunshine. I know he's supposed to look like a toy, but still, Sunshine Mecha Bowser looked awesome.
As well as being your own 8-bit self. As a challenging platforming section, no less. Not like Hurry Scurry Galaxy, but you do have to strategize your pathway carefully. And look! Cake! Boss fight! Darn it! Speaking of boss fights, Bumpin' Galaxy is pretty much a boss fight against a giant skeleton fish known as Kingfin. The only way to defeat it is by throwing Koopa shells at it.
This is also the only boss fight that takes place underwater, and as a result, it's definitely one of my least favorite bosses in the entire game.
After collecting more power stars, you'll then regain to the next boss galaxy, Bowser Jr.'s Lava Reactor. After guiding bullet bills to break glass, Bowser Jr. decides to resurrect King Caliente in said lava reactor.
Because what's a Nintendo game without repeating bosses?
But unlike the previous encounter, you have to hit the coconuts back at him way more frequently. You also now have to deal with sinking platforms. Anyway, defeat Caliente again and retrieve the next Grand Star. Actually, before we get to the next dome, I should probably head on back to the Gateway Galaxy by a gate. Portal. Mario runs into Rosalina again as she once again remembers the fond memories about this one planet she used to call home, as well as the history of what Lumos will become in the future. Some become planets, some become comets, and a few become power stars. It's also here where we're introduced to the purple coins as well as a new power-up, the Red Star.
The Red Star allows you to fly around the level simply by performing a spin. Sounds really cool, right? Yeah, here comes the disappointing part. You can only use it during this mission and in the observatory. Nowhere else. That has to be the biggest waste of a cool idea I've ever seen in my life. And I finished Sonic Forces.
Yeah, I have to agree. This would have been an awesome power-up to use in any stage, or at least every stage you've finished before. It may be overpowered, but that's exactly why it's so fun to use. Sometimes it's just really fun being an overpowered hero, speaking as a Dynasty Warriors fan.
At least the flying animation is pretty good.
I believe I can fly!
As for the purple coins, well, remember those stupid 100 coin missions from Mario 64 and Sunshine? Thankfully, the purple coin missions are handled much better here, but more about that later. Up next we have In the Garden of Galaxy by Iron Koopa Kid.
That sounds suspiciously like rock and or roll.
Matter Splatter Galaxy, in a way, feels like an expanded version of the secret mission in Ghostly Galaxy. It's not entirely an auto-scrolling level, but it feels like it is.
Just try not to let Mario fall into that dark matter. Imagine every molecule of Mario's body be destroyed at a subatomic level.
I alluded to this before, but I really don't like auto-scrolling sections in platformers. Maybe it's because of my Sonic the Hedgehog DNA, but I'm the type of person who always likes to go as fast as possible in every video game I play. It's also one of the reasons I like Mega Man X and Mega Man Zero more than classic Mega Man.
In the deep dark galaxy, there's a deep dark sea, and through the deep dark tunnel, there's a deep dark ghost ship. And on said ghost ship, Witch!
This is Camilla. She's not Kammy Koopa from Paper Mario, but she looks so similar that you constantly wonder why they didn't just use Kammy Koopa.
There's also another mission where Mario enters the marble planet where you have to break free the watermelon inside the marble while also avoiding lasers. Oh, and whenever you lose all your health points while touching one of the lasers, this happens. Dreadnought Galaxy. Now that's one galaxy I definitely dread.
Thank you, I'll be here all night. You suck!
This galaxy is basically Battle Rock Galaxy 2.0, because like before, it has an auto-scrolling section with cannons to avoid, but this time it also has anti-gravity sections. Not to mention a harder version of that annoying bomb mission from before. As a result, this is another one of my least favorite galaxies in the game. Oh, and this galaxy also has a rematch with Top Maniac, but that boss was easy before, so he's not that much harder here.
But before you even reach Top Maniac again, you have to go through a Pole Star obstacle course. And seriously, why must the launch star be that distant from the Pole Star? What were the developers thinking?
More like Dread not Galaxy. I'll see myself out.
Multi-Molten Galaxy has mostly fire and lava, including a sinking lava spire, a burning tide, another ball rolling mission, this time through lava, and a rematch against the Dino Piranha, except now on fire! And even more difficult than before.
Now this galaxy is quite the hot topic, wouldn't you say? Though despite that pun, I don't really have much to say about this galaxy aside from that stupid Daredevil comment I already complained about earlier.
The fiery Dino Piranha is a decent enough change to avoid repeating the boss, I guess. But aside from that, this galaxy's not too hot. Tough crowd. Anyway, it's mostly just a gauntlet of lava obstacles. It's tradition at this point.
And unlike every other dome, the garden is the only one that does not have a boss galaxy. I just want to point that out. With that said, let's talk about the final galaxy of the game, or rather collect more power stars if you don't have enough. Unlike Mario 64, in which you need at least 70 stars to reach Bowser, this game requires 60 power stars in order to reach Bowser, half the amount needed for full completion.
But if you're like me and don't really care about that, then it's off to the final galaxy.
Rosalina tells Mario that the Comet Observatory has full power and has enough power to fly through the cosmos as they fly off to the final galaxy at the center of the universe, Bowser's Galaxy Reactor, the fate of the universe. It has spotlights that let you walk on walls while avoiding fire bars and traversing through all forces of nature, including fire, ice, sand, and crystal.
Don't forget the barrage of bullet bills.
Oh, great.
Despite this level being fairly challenging, it thankfully has plenty of checkpoints and doesn't last too long if you know what you're doing.
Near the end of the level, we then encounter Bowser Jr. with Princess Peach by his side. He then falls back to his father and attacks the floor as Mario makes his way to Bowser himself, while also trying to get a life mushroom and a one-up mushroom.
From this galaxy, I'll rule a great galactic empire with peace by my side. It'll last forever!
And at long last, the final battle with Bowser begins.
It all starts with Bowser turning into a boulder. To attack Bowser, you need to attack his exposed head with good timing while he's in the boulder. Once you knock him onto his shell, you can finally deal damage to him. Do that a total of 3 times, and the fight will then transition to the next phase.
For phase 2, all you have to do is knock Bowser around with these rubbery bulbs. Is that really what they're called? Okay then. And then spin attack him while he's helplessly sliding around on his shell, just like in phase 1.
And like in phase 2, Bowser will still try to crush Mario by rolling into a spiked ball during phase 3. But this time, he'll also try to jump on him like in the previous battles. And just like those previous battles, you need to get him to jump onto that blue glass to burn his tail. After that, you need to attack his burning tail to knock him onto his shell, and then attack him again to damage him. Do that 3 more times, and Bowser is finally defeated. At least until the next game in the series.
But yeah, Mario gets the last Power Star and saves Peach from falling off the airship. As they escape, Bowser's Star Reactor then explodes into a black hole, which causes the legions of Lumas to appear and do their best to shield everyone from the black hole, which then turns into a supernova. Jeez, where's Stephen Hawking when you need him?
And then Princess Celestia, Rosalina, appears before Mario.
It's here where Rosalina explains that dead stars turn to stardust, in which it eventually reforms to create a new star. But the cycle of life doesn't repeat in quite the same way, as Mario eventually finds out in the next scene.
Mario eventually wakes up in the Mushroom Kingdom and finds not only Peach, but also Bowser, who somehow survived the explosion, in the same area. It's also here where several different creatures and characters have joined the Mushroom Kingdom.
Okay, literally, what just happened? Even as a kid, this ending always confused me.
But hey, Mario seems pretty happy about it.
Welcome! Welcome, new galaxy!
And that concludes the main story for this game. But it's not over yet. On to the other galaxies!
I think I'll leave this one to you guys. I never touched this game's post-story content.
For starters, there are some other galaxies via the Hungry Lumas I haven't talked about yet. First, there's the Big Mouth Galaxy. Nice use of a beginner's trap there, Nintendo. Placing a green Koopa shell in front of the golden chest knowing that it won't work. But basically, you have to swim your way to the gold shell and bring it back to the gold chest to open it. Next, there's the Sand Spiral Galaxy.
This is actually my favorite of the Hungry Luma galaxies, purely because you basically have to choose between using the Bee Mushroom or the Boo Mushroom to get through the end of this tunnel. I personally like the Boo Mushroom more, purely because you have infinite flight with that power-up. And at the end, it ends with using the Rainbow Star to blast through these spiked balls and jump towards this small moon to get the Power Star. And to mention the Boo Mushroom again, the next Hungry Luma hosts the Boo's Boneyard Galaxy. It features a rematch against the Spooky Speedster from the Ghostly Galaxy, but this time you get to transform into Boo Mario for this race.
And finally, there's the Snowcap Galaxy. Under a time limit, you have to catch all 3 snow bunnies. And that's it. It's also worth mentioning that you can find 3 green stars throughout the adventure. One located in Battle Rock Galaxy via Luigi, one located in the Bowie Base Galaxy, and one more in the Dusty Doom Galaxy. After collecting said green stars, you unlock the Planet of Trials, which are home to the Trial Galaxies, some of the most difficult galaxies in the entire game. For starters, there's the Rolling Gizmo Galaxy. Remember the Rolling Green Galaxy? Well, this is pretty much a harder version of that. And then there's the Loot to Swoop Galaxy. It's like Surfing 101, but more advanced.
And now, I present to you all the galaxy's greatest wave. Good luck, dudes. You're gonna need it.
And finally, we have, in my opinion, the most difficult galaxy in the entire game, the Bubble Blast Galaxy. Remember the Bubble Breeze Galaxy in the kitchen and how much we didn't like it? Well, it's handled much worse here. You have to collect 5-star chips while avoiding obstacles like lasers, mines, fire, and zap balls.
If you thought you needed precision before, then this galaxy will really test your patience. I have finished this galaxy before, but that doesn't make it any less boring.
Finally, there's one more Prankster Comet we need to talk about, because once you finish the game, you'll unlock the Purple Comets. Remember that mission in the Gateway Galaxy where the Red Star was located? Well, that's what the Purple Comet does to several different galaxies. Like the Gateway Galaxy, you have to collect 100 purple coins to get the star. And why are these missions handled better here in comparison to Mario 64 and Sunshine? Because some of these missions have more than 100 purple coins to collect, which can often lead to shorter results.
There are still, unfortunately, some of those annoying scavenger hunt type missions with the Purple Comets, but there are nowhere near as many as there were in the previous Mario games. And with that said, the Purple Comet in Dreadnought Galaxy can go screw itself.
Now I know what you might be thinking. Do you actually get something for collecting all 120 Power Stars in the game?
I'm glad you asked.
Super Luigi Galaxy!
Yep, you actually unlock Luigi as a playable character if you can collect every Power Star, and he also has his own progress in one save file. Luigi not only runs faster, but also jumps way higher and further. This can make getting some Power Stars easier than when playing as Mario. After all, look how I managed to get this Power Star in the Beach Ball Galaxy. That said, there are only 2 drawbacks to playing as Luigi. For one, he has way worse traction than Mario, so it can be very easy to slide around as him. Secondly, using the spin attack underwater will also drain your air meter. And another thing, who does Luigi rescue from the Ghostly Galaxy? Why, himself, of course! The other Luigi will even comment on the fact that he has a literal twin.
Or he can be from the future.
So, partners in time? But yeah, Luigi is really awesome in this game. Though if you don't feel like collecting all 120 power stars in this game, there is an easier way to unlock Luigi in the sequel, but that's a story for another time.
Anyway, let's talk about the game's graphics and sound. For an updated port of the game, it actually manages to both run and sound very well. While the original game did run at 60 frames per second, the 3D All-Stars port manages to still run the game very smoothly, even though the Switch is technically a higher running console than its counterpart. Musically, it's actually good. Even though it beat Sonic Unleashed by 1 year, it still managed to enhance the environment of each galaxy, whether it's an original piece or a remastering of a classic Mario tune. Yes, I do recognize a few synthesized moments here and there, but I don't think it really ruins it for me. Koji Kondo, you will forever be a musical genius.
This is definitely one of the best looking games on the Nintendo Wii, and one could even argue that it looks even better here on the Nintendo Switch. Both versions also run at a smooth 60 frames per second, which is already a massive upgrade from Super Mario 64 and Super Mario Sunshine. As for the game's music, wow, it's just incredible. For a large portion of the soundtrack, the game uses a real orchestra for the music, and it sounds amazing. It can sound beautiful, it can sound catchy, it can sound bombastic. Just about every song here is so well composed. There are also some songs in the game that use synthesized instruments similar to previous Mario games, and they sound really good as well. Unsurprisingly, one of my favorite songs in the game is Toy Time Galaxy, purely because it's a rendition of the classic Super Mario Bros. Theme. Though when it comes to the music that uses real instruments, my favorites would have to be Gateway Galaxy, Good Egg Galaxy, Space Junk Galaxy, and especially this game's rendition of the airship theme from Super Mario Bros. 3.
Hard to believe this game was on a console as underpowered as the Wii. The graphics look on par with Mario Odyssey, especially with the resolution cleaned up in the Switch version. The music is some of the best in gaming history in my opinion. I'm a sucker for the sound of a grand scale orchestra, so this is like caviar for my ears.
So after almost 20 years of this game's existence, does it still hold up with all the Mario games we have today? 100% yes.
The levels are out of this world, the music feels galactic, and the gameplay? Astronomical. And yes, that was an intentional triple pun. But anyway, each galaxy definitely stands out in their own right. It's always good to have different environmental styles while adding in a certain flair to them. The music in this game is really good, whether it's an orchestra or a synthesized work. But as previously mentioned, the music does heavily enhance the environment of each galaxy. As for the overall gameplay, it's actually pretty good. While I did encounter a few problems here and there, I don't think it ruins my overall experience. Unlike certain other games, the gravity mechanic is definitely handled very well. In fact, it actually makes it more fitting for a game that takes place in space. The character models look great, Rosalina looks beautiful, her backstory is a very interesting read, and again, that's what makes this game so good. But comparing it to Super Mario 64 and Sunshine though, I still think Sunshine still holds out to me the most, but it's only because Sunshine was the 3D Mario game I grew up playing the most. However, it's much better than Mario 64 in my personal opinion. I'm not saying that Mario 64 was a bad game, but I just think Galaxy stands out to me more than 64. Overall, Super Mario Galaxy is a great game. Whether it's on the original Wii or even on the 3D All-Stars port, the game truly knows how to execute a place to boldly go where no plumber has gone before. Give it a try when you get a chance.
While my personal favorite Mario game is still the original Super Mario Bros., since that was also my first Mario game, I do have to agree that there are technically better Mario games out there, and this is certainly one of them. Super Mario Galaxy is easily one of my top 5 favorite Mario games of all time. It has incredible music and atmosphere, a really heartwarming story, and very fun gameplay and power-ups. This is one game I highly recommend playing at least once. I may not revisit it often nowadays, like with most Mario games, but it certainly gave me some good memories that will truly last forever.
I remember how massive the hype for Super Mario Galaxy was. And you know what? It delivered on that hype. Even to this day, it's the Mario adventure that feels the most epic. It still manages to feel massive, even though the levels are a touch more linear than in Sunshine and 64, with both the space travel and the massive bosses lending to the sense of scale that other Mario games just didn't have. I think Odyssey surpasses it in a couple ways, but I can't deny this game is an adventure of galactic proportions. Check it out if you haven't already. Are you happy now, Seth?
Yes. Yes, I am.
Good. I'm gonna go get a slice of pizza while we prepare for the next review.
Okay then. Now if you excuse me, I have to get back to playing Final Fantasy VIII on my Nintendo Switch.
Okay then. In the meantime, I'm the Fairly Odd Gamer, and I wish you all good luck the rest of your day or night, wherever you are. Take care, everyone.
What is going on here? Anyway, hey everyone, Sonic here. Be sure to support the channel on Patreon or even be part of the YouTube membership. Either way, they'll both allow you exclusive access to a Discord server, extra bonus features, and your name being seen right next to me, like Luke Jeffers, Scarlet the Hedgehog, and Johnny Gallagher. Thanks for watching the video as well as supporting the channel.